Welcome to ResoLex Radar Talks. Today I'm talking with Marcel Hendricks, the chairman of Alliance Construction Networks, particularly looking at the conference that's coming up in November, looking at risk and innovation. Marcel, good morning.
Good morning to you.
So for a start, could you just give me a little bit more detail on the Alliance Construction Networks?
Of course. Well, originally I set this up because I felt there was a need in the market, this was 2012, for a sharing of knowledge at a low and affordable pace. At the time, 2012, we were quite low in terms of the recession. There was a lot of information that was not available where it was because of the circumstances and because of the change of government. And I wanted to explore an area where we could share knowledge to all people, regardless if you're a client body or a member of the supply chain, and everybody is welcome. And also there is a element of networking where people can actually find out about prospective job opportunities or project opportunities. It started with just education, and I wanted just a forum which was just a tea and coffee get together, how things going. And through that we established the knowledge sharing platform where we have talks, and because I went sector specific, so we have talks in healthcare, education and residential, and they are regular. It meant that there was themes that we could go into over the course of a season, and it grew memberships in the various sectors. We have members who are members of one, two or all three of the networks, and they come along, and there may be different personnel who are specialising on that sector within that organisation. We hold our talks monthly at the RICS, and they're breakfast events, and they start in the morning with an hour of networking, and then we go on to the presentations. We have 2 or 3 people on the panel on a particular subject, and then we have half an hour of questions and answers and debate, and then we have a breakout for further tea and coffee before we close. And then about 2014 we had our first conference, so we took what we did at the breakfast and basically expanded it, and now we have 2-day conferences. So we've had various themes on how long does it take to design a building, and going through the various stages of the job plan, to this year's theme, which is around risk and innovation. And this came about mainly through my own private practice work and projects that I'm evaluating, and the talk and emphasis around innovation. And there's lots of talk around innovation, how innovative their scheme is, and how innovative their product is, and how innovative they did this and that. And I sometimes felt that there wasn't enough look at, well, what are the risks associated with that? By its very nature, the term innovation comes with a risk, and what is that risk and how is it being managed? And not all clients want innovation. Some clients just want, I just want to try and test it on time, on budget, and risk will always be associated with that. And whether or not innovation is something that clients actually want on time and time again, I'm not so sure. And then what does innovation mean, and in what areas? So from procurement, innovation in terms of the procurement routes, innovation in terms of design processes, so we are looking at BIM and off-site construction and modern methods of construction, to things that are happening on the site and construction processes. So, and all of this will still be assessed against quality, time and cost. But some innovation may actually be more expensive, and we have to accept that. If you are looking at things like biodegradable plastics products, at the moment the cost of that is higher than normal plastic, but they are innovation and move forwards, and we should be embracing that sort of technology as we move forward.
So in putting together the programme, did you get any idea of what the drivers for the innovation are? So you could have innovation around technical solutions, as you mentioned, they're environmental, so there is obviously a large sustainability drive, and innovation plays a large part in that. It could be around innovation to try and alleviate costs, so whether that's reducing the programme down, using off-site manufacturing and such like, or there are innovations based around the well-being of the team developing and delivering the project. Any indications on what the main drivers are from the client side yet?
I think my fear on a lot of projects is they were looking at innovation as a means to value engineer.
Right.
And it's around how can I innovate to make things more efficient, more cost effective, drive down cost, make things quicker. Now there may well be with that there are efficiencies in better quality solutions or safer solutions, and there may be solutions that improve the well-being. But I think initially these were secondary drivers. I think without a shadow of the doubt with what happened at Grenfell a year ago, there's been a complete step change in our evaluation on innovation and risk. And now we should be, and we are looking at innovation to look at the things that you've touched on in terms of the well-being, health and safety. We want our workforce to be able to carry out their duties in a manner that they can go home safely at the end of the day. And equally, if there are issues that are happening inside or outside the home, as how is that managed within the workplace to get the best out of the employee. So I think the whole wellbeing agenda has changed the way things are looking, particularly around innovation. How we are looking at it from a risk side, not quite as confident that we are still managing the risks as well as we should be.
So a very interesting take, yes, looking at both sides, the need for innovation, the desire and the drivers for it, but are we prepared to manage the associated risks if this is real innovation and we're not looking for the age-old tried and tested innovation, which obviously doesn't really exist. So as far as learning more about this, do tell us when and where is the conference?
So the conference is the 21st and 22nd November. It's at the RICS, Great George Street, just off Parliament Square, and it's a 2-day event, and there'll be 16 sessions, 8 sessions each day. Fundamentally, the format is a 45-minute session with normally around 2 presenters. They do either individual or group presentations for around half an hour, which leaves around 15 minutes for questions and answers. Some of the later sessions in the day and on the second day, we turn more into much more of a debate. So we'll have a larger panel and much more of a question and answers, primarily because there's so much information that has to be digested by the audience. It's a lot to take in. So what we found is pretty much the opposite to you'll see a lot of conferences where they'll start with the debate and go into the Q&A presentations later on in the day. We tend to flip it around because we think that actually we have more people who are more relaxed or tired by the end of the day, and the debates tend to work as a better format on the second half of the programme.
Well, certainly I'm looking forward to joining in. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on behavioural risk and the impact to the overall risk environment that relationships, behaviour and collaboration have. So I really look forward to joining you in November and having a very good conference.
I look forward to seeing you there.
Thanks.
Thank you.